An announcement is made from whoever is on pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is in Arabic called Hajj. Hajj means a wish given to us from Allah. Every individual has his wish. His wish will be done the moment it is granted to us, provided that wish alone is in our hearts and our mind and our knowledge will not corrupt it based on our understanding, our experiences, and our methods of living. If we believe in God, then believe in God alone. We know there is no force above God. There is not a thing superior to one. That one is the body in the swing. Will you obey by God or will you follow thinking also, making your knowledge corrupt the will and wish of God given to your heart? That heart must always hold the wish in it superior to every other problems that you may have. Made by God here, His messenger have withdrawn from you if you weigh your knowledge and your thinking and your ways of living high above the blessing, a wish given by God, bestowed upon your heart. The wish is in an unseen form, and the will is His command. It will happen. It will happen when the moment He says, be, it is. This is His word. But then when will it happen? Until such time, the wish of Allah is taken to the mind in pure form, and our mind is cleansed of our knowledge. The knowledge is a block, is a barricade between the wish of God happening before you and your own desires, deviating you away from the godliness that is intended for us. You either be on the pilgrimage in following the will of Allah, or you take your own methodologies in the living standards, whatever is available with the contemporary people. If you choose that way, then the will of Allah is kept pending until such time you remove all your ways, designed or which you have imagined against Allah. So we read this whole verse and then try to understand how to apply it in life, so that our pilgrimage is from our birth to the end process. Even after that also, progress, travel will be journeying in the unseen bliss of God. The God endowed blessing is the bliss, is a beautiful life ahead of you. There is not a tinge of worry or grief will touch it, and you will never be seized with the adversaries in your all life. A proclamation from God and His messenger unto mankind. We will understand this Quran is not for a single human being, a single community, a single nation, but all nations, people. This is the way. There is no other way. Finally, you will be returning to God, but then you must know who God is. Mostly, we do not know God because we make ourselves gods. Clearly, Allah says, you have taken two gods. One, the God who is superior to all the others that you know well, but still you consider yourself as God. But you will not succeed. Definitely, with all your efforts, you are not succeeding when you are severely affected with any ailment. Diseases, suffering go using all your knowledge. Finally, you turn to God for your cure, for your healing. That is there in your heart as a good one, blessing, then it is from God for which you have no means at all to accomplish it. If you have no means to create anything for you in real time in your life, then it is from God the good, a good news has come to you. It is a glad tidings from God. So, self alive and steadfastly stand by the command, the wish given by God to you, and thereafter do not waver in your stance. He is a keen watcher over you, over your heart. Whatever is happening there, definitely he is fully aware of it. Coming to this particular verse, chapter 9, verse 3, this is a proclamation, a declaration. It is even a promulgation. It is even a law. Barring this, there is no way for you to accomplish in your life the wish I have given you. That wish is your entire life's need. A burden free life from the start to the finish. A disease start to the finish. Is it possible with you? Now the pilgrimage starts. It is not possible with me. Anything good is there in the heart. It is from Him as a blessing. Guiding. It's good news for you. It is not possible for you to. He is the only creator. When I have something in my mind, just think about it. How a mind speaks to me. I am speaking from a mouth, and the words fall in your ears, and then it goes to the brain, and then it enters the heart, and then you understand certain things. This is the knowledge we have. But without any speech from, there are beautiful things in me as if I need it at once. Or at least how beautiful it will be when it happens in my life tomorrow. Somewhere in my life, it must happen. It must come to. I will live in it, and I have got to live through it before I die. Where from this speech comes? It is from outside? No. From inside? Yes. How? For everything inside of me as a will must happen from outside. I must feel everything by all my special senses. All the five senses must cater to the need I have in my heart. The will of God, the Creator, who says, take it in your mind that no other force can deliver it to you except Him. No other force can create it for you except Him. If only we know there are no creators other than the Creator. Every person in this world is thinking that their efforts are put forth first and then God will help you. Is it right? Every new thing that is given there is in abstract form, but it has to happen in a visible form. God is the creator. He is not the copier of his own creation. So whatever you know of is whatever you have seen, whatever you have lived through, whatever you experienced. whatever you heard of in your life. And all those things can be imaginations too. From the created things, I imagine certain things, weird. Then I need that. If I have money, I want more money, that's my need. If I have a house, I want a big bungalow, that's my need. If I have some rivers, it must be having a stream all the time, and there must be some falls. I create an artificial falls that is not even water, but a corrupted water. But I feel that I am living beautifully according to my wish, but nothing has a life source in it. And God sends down the rain, that's a new creation. Yesterday there was rain, today there is rain, tomorrow there will be results, and then thereafter there will be continuous rains. Every drop is a new creation. It is not the same water. What we know is about from about what we know from the past. And what we are creating is the past is created. The dead, gone days are created today. The past tense is created as a present tense. And I take it to the future tense also. My life will be fully tensed, tension filled life. This stressful life I don't want. If you don't want a stressful life, then believe that Creator alone has placed His wish in you as a command. Unless you take this command in your heart and you believe you are not the Creator, everything here is unseen, so it is to be created. How can you imagine an unseen wish given here in the form of materials? In the form, how is it possible for you to link an wish to a visible creation? When you know that it is given by God, you are not thinking, but whatever is given to you, you are trying to understand what it is and then trying to give a form and shape to it. Thereafter, follow that idol. I am idol worshipper as long as I am giving a shape and form to the invisible feel, a wish, God given wish in the heart. So, in the heart of hearts, I must understand that this is a creation to be created by God for my life tomorrow. And God doesn't create already. He is not a copier of his own creation, but he is creating all anew. Today, my skin is being produced all anew. My heart houses newer and newer wish, as and when he delivers in every breath of mine. This understanding must be there in our hearts that here is my wish, and I follow that wish without giving form and shape. Once I give form and shape, I am taking my past experience to the future. The past is dead, and the past cannot come to the fore, and I cannot live in the past. When I begin to create whatever I know of using my knowledge as things and materials, it is only a gathering of my knowledge, gathering of the past without any life force in it. I am leading a deadly life, death bound life, because the past is dead, my knowledge is dead. I bring the past knowledge to the future, and disastrous journey is what I have taken from this moment. If your conscience is alive today, you will know everything is true. Book for the so-called Muslims. This is a book for whoever has a conscience with him. Then what does it provide you? It provides you the remembrance of the conscience. Long forgotten conscience is given to you for your remembrance renewed. It is brought to the fore as and when situations demand. I begin to realize that this is my need. But long before God has given you in the conscience, you shall not suffer in you shall not suffer by any means. All your life you will be leading a happy, prosperous, and over all and above, you will be leading a with God. So have peace with God, then you will have peace with other people. If you have no peace with God, then you are enemies unto yourselves. How to be at peace with God. Look into your heart. You call it mind? No. Mind and brain you link together because you always hold on to the visible structure brain. Invisible mind to the visible structure. No. In any visible structure, there's no mind. The mind commands the visible structures. Suppose this brain has to work, my mind must command the invisible force. If you think that it is not possible, it is possible with him. So believe in it and maintain patience. If you want something, you don't get it, but you are sure that you should get it, and you know that God is there, and you are praying to God, then understand comprehensively. You must have the will of God as your command in the depth of your hearts. At the same time, you seek patience from Him, and you seek belief from Him to believe in whatever He has said. This gives me a peaceful link between me and the godliness He has given to me. He has endowed with me His godliness. That is, have patience, have belief. Seek belief from me, seek patience from me. You don't work out your brain. Don't cook up whatever I have given you as my wish. Don't spoil your heart and thereby be at loggerheads with me that I have not provided you anything, that I have given you all the sufferings on the earth, and that don't speak to others why I had created you and to make you suffer. It is all your hands that had worked for you. All the sufferings, afflictions, disastrous situations, and disturbing happenings around you is because what you have wrought against yourself. Your brain has worked without the command, without abiding by the command of the inner heart that is mind. When mind doesn't know, your brain doesn't act. The mind knows only the past things now, but whatever the mind must hold is about the future, invisible thing to be created by God. When I am suffering, God says, don't suffer. The suffering is earned by your own hands, your own knowledge. So stop using that knowledge. I am renewing your life. I am renewing your life force. I am giving you the lasting happiness and peace. Whether you want this or this lasting happiness, peace, all those things are a material or having a form and shape that you will give money and buy it for you and then you start living in it. No. You may have even a palace, but living inside the palace is impossible unless His grace is there in the palace. Every single brick must bear His grace, then you can start living there because there is liveliness in it. If you are boastful of these things that you have created, you have developed this, you have built this palace, then it is the life is removed from it. You will be suffering therein, and as long as you suffer therein, you will be living therein, and you will not be willing to come out of it because of your pride. That building is your pride, not your life. Until such time you denounce that you are not God and God is the God. Until such time, you are not to be relieved of your pains. You are not to be relieved of your sufferings. But brain constantly works against the will, constantly works. So fear him all the time. And the conscience speaks to you. Inside the conscience is the messenger of God from among the unseen. The messenger of God from among the unseen is termed here as Malaik, God sent messenger in an unseen form, in an abstract form. You cannot see, but they are there. You know the good forces and bad forces. What is that force? You cannot see, but it definitely has an impact in my life. Whether good forces or bad forces, I love it or I hate it. I suffer it or I begin to enjoy it. Be rejoiced now that good forces is what you require in the mind, not the knowledge which causes harm to you, which is in the shape of a material which you have created already. And that creation is about the past. God doesn't create the past, come back to life again. God creates a new creation that doesn't have any any adulteration, any corruption from the past. So will you believe that in your heart every pure word of God is there as a promise for your future? And that promise is given to you by the messengers from the unseen, all the good forces that circumvent your heart and that surrounds your heart. And it is an embodiment altogether. The mind is the holder of all the blessings from the Almighty power. And it is bestowed upon you as a gift for tomorrow. From this moment onwards, let the heart be at peace. Your conscience will be revived as long as you are living by the will of God, and you don't forget that your mind and your knowledge should not enter here and corrupt it, because the mind commands the brain, and whatever in the brain is not going to get a foothold in my mind. There is no room for it. Now the pilgrimage starts. God only can deliver you whatever you require. Basic purity you will have in the mind. And I am not God who will create. That is another purity, the second purity that you will hold. As long as you are surviving, you will not bring your knowledge, command of heart, and start doing things. You know only worldly things. What God is going to create is from above. All that you are promised is from above, heavenly things that is going to descend on you. All that you have in your knowledge is the worldly things that is already dying, decimated, or decaying to be decomposed. Everything in the world has to be dispensed with. Everything will go away. Only whatever God has given you will remain. You lost your life. You lost hopes of all your life. All your hopes definitely takes you to the path of destruction, self-destruction. And finally, I know I will not be surviving anymore. Now I turn to God, save me. If that saving your life is the unseen power. Now you are not seeking a medicine, you're not seeking a doctor, you're not seeking an injection or anything, but you want to be saved from death. You want to live longer. Life, living, all these things are in unseen form, and it has to be renewed in us by the power that God gives you by way of your blessing. That is your wish and will. Your pilgrimage starts. If I have only the will of God in me, untouched by the corrupt knowledge I store in the brain, definitely my pilgrimage starts. And automatically you are given the patience, and you will be made to endure at ease. Over the time, things will be developing, and all along you will be feeling the nature of your heart turning to be pleasant. Leave alone how you are going to be living in the future. Now the heart is pleasant. Whenever we feel that my heart is pleasant, but you do not know how things are the same as before for our eyes, but things have changed. No, because whatever your eyes, whatever is in the visible form, as long as it is in materialistic form, you can see. In the visible form, it is see. Otherwise, we cannot see. Feel that everything remains the same, but sometimes, definitely, I feel pleasantness in the heart. That means things are coming to you. There is a purity in the heart. Brain, the knowledge in the brain is adulterating at this moment, whatever you have in your heart. So seek God's pleasure now by thanking Him whenever you feel pleasant at heart. Oh God, make me thankful to you all the time. And I want this pleasantness in my heart, this joyous feeling in my heart all the time. And never let my knowledge corrupt whatever I have here as your blessing. Let my pilgrimage be unadulterated, uncorrupted, unhindered. And may God lead me all the way to glory without any adverse effects touching me, any adversities I do not want. Don't make me suffer any adversities, me and my families. This is how you will all the time remember the God, the Almighty Power, Allah. You know, Allah means the none but Him. That is the only meaning of Allah. Al means the, La means the none, who means Him, the none but Him. This is the basic purity you must have in the mind before you reach to Him, before you turn to Him, before you look up to Him. This is the basic purity you must have. There is none but Him. For anything that you have in the heart, none but Him. For whatever you have in this brain, you are going to receive, you are going to earn only the worst part of your life, the worst part of your suffering. And you say to God that I don't want this. And so whatever I have in my brain also, with reference to tomorrow, about tomorrow, concerning tomorrow, I am deeply concerned with it. Don't worry, your knowledge is corrupting and seek forgiveness from Him because you used your knowledge for tomorrow. The next day is not in your hands. The life is not in your hands. Your properties are not in your hands. What is going to happen tomorrow is from Him. You know this very well. This is conscience. The good forces God has sent to protect your heart, they speak to you of the conscience. They are the messengers from the unseen. That becomes my conscience the moment I start thinking. I don't imagine things of the past. I think about the future, the unknown future, and I believe in Him. Now, the messengers from the unseen, they are the good forces. Then the evil forces are there, the jinns. We must definitely try to understand the two parts of the nature that has an effect in our day-to-day life. One is the good force, the other is the jinn force. The jinn force casting evil in your heart, not to make you understand what God has given you, and not to, it gives you all sorts of advices to work for yourself. God will not come from heaven, and you have to put in all your efforts and seek from God. My efforts are in the line of my knowledge. The knowledge is about the past. My face is turned backwards because my knowledge is about the past, but my body is in the front. All my body is facing front, my face is turned backwards. What will happen to me? I neither go forward, I can go backward. This is the position of most of the people who think about their future based on their knowledge, trying to more and more, and they want to flourish on whatever they are going to earn. They want to surpass all the materials they have, and they want to be boasting about increasing their strength with the materials they have in their mind. So the materials are dead, they have no life in it, and you will be suffering because of the materialistic approach, and your earnings are totally material oriented. Think about the unseen, believe in the unseen, and believe in the God given gift to you, that is the message of God to you, the messengers have brought to you. It is there in the heart in every breath. The messengers are delivering the glad tidings from God. It is an admonition, don't use your knowledge, that is evil force. Don't make the knowledge touch the blessing, it will be corrupted. Thereafter, you will be leading the same life as before. Today, it is time that we receive the messages from the messengers unseen. If you believe that you have to create it, then you are associating yourself with God. Don't take two gods, only one God. And don't think that your efforts are required for me so that I could help you. There is no way. I don't need anyone's help. I am needless. I am self sufficient to provide you what I have granted to you. Will you abide by the grant I have given you so that you will be graced for your future? Or are you going to abide by your knowledge downward and deathward? And then you will call me I will come to your help only when all the avenues and all the ways that you have in your mind is removed. And slowly, you will be spending all your knowledge, and you will be using all your knowledge, all your ways, and the ways of the people. You go to the people asking for help, and they will also say, I will help you, but finally, it turns out to be not. After exhausting all your ways, that means your heart is purified. There is no God but Him. This is the point to which you have come to finally. This you must have in the mind. Only now God's help comes, and thereafter you are cured of your adversities. Your life is restored now towards a better life tomorrow, and your heart is now should be thankful to Him. Mostly, the moment we get better, we think back and go back to our original ways and start doing things what we used to do just before this heart is cleaned up after exhausting all your avenues. Finally, you turn to Him. Everything is made to be forgotten by the evil forces, the jinns, because you have the pride that you have knowledge. Not at all, that knowledge is not going to work out for you. It is going to be a downhill march, a downhill. It is going to give greater harm to you. It is going to put you in the dire situations. You will be careful of you that you don't use your knowledge at any point of time. Tomorrow and believe tomorrow and be thankful of whatever God has given to you and be in close association with the messengers. You are not gods. God is God. This everyone knows. But this conscience is given to you. Now the conscience is given to you. It is given a rebirth to you so that you remember everything at the time of death, and then God gives you a new lease of life because the heart is purified of your knowledge and you have no belief in the people, and the belief in the God alone exists. This is the pilgrimage we will be following all our lives. Pilgrimage is purification of mind that God alone can create a new word for me for every good tidings God has given to me in the heart of hearts. That is my future. If I understand that He creates, He doesn't copy. But what I have in my mind as tomorrow is the copying of whatever I have experienced in the past, and I bring it to the future. Definitely, it is not going to be a life for you. It is a deathward life. I am already dead. As long as I am using my knowledge for tomorrow, I am dead already. This is what I have in my mind. We will keep in mind. This is not for Muslims. This is for the entire humanity. This is conscience oriented. This is not consciousness oriented. Consciousness is about the surrounding. I am aware of everything and I am just following what other people are following. Conscience is I am aware of the consciousness, I am aware of the evils of the consciousness, and then my conscience says that Creator is the one who will be taking you to the future and you will be leading a joyous life, blissful life. You are thankful to God once He gives you out of His I am not living a life I am sustained. I am the godliness in me for the sake of other human beings. What is that godliness I have in mind? We both have to be humble. You have to be a guiding force for others. You others. You seek forgiveness for others. And one seek forgiveness for the other. And all the community people will be based on this life if they are to lead a paradisical life in this world. So possess the godliness, the maximum benefit you will have out of the glad tidings God has given to you is by following the belief in Him alone and Him alone until the last moments, maintaining patience that God's words will be true. He will perform his promise. He will not fail us because we believed him. So God is we will be grateful to you if you are grateful to God. Definitely, God is appreciative of your thankfulness. So He is thanking you when you thank Him. If you become greedy, only the materials in this world, a lifeless material or a death word material that we want. Slowly, the life is going out of every material God has created. Even the gardens God has created, it will die and a new garden will develop. As it is dying, the new gardens are developing. As the waters are running and drying out, the new waters are ground and new springs that gush forth from the ground and from above the rains. If we are to follow the God given message to us, a beautiful message to us about tomorrow, not touch it. You are suffering a lot. God says, don't suffer. This is what I want. Now the pilgrimage starts. If I start thinking that I know certain knowledge, this is a problem due to such and such diseases. For medical people, you don't have to say anything. They will have all the nonsense in their brain. Due to that, due to this. For anything, whatever you know as knowledge medically, can you cure it? Are you sure you can cure it? If a patient comes to you, any doctor can take the fees from him, guaranteeing him that he will cure. A simple, maybe a cold, a cough, a fever, or it can be a organ failure, it can be a tumor or cancer. Guarantee a patient and then start curing him? Cannot. But then who cures? You have in the mind that the patient must be cured, then only I can survive. But you know very well that the patient can be cured or not, I do not know. I have some knowledge, but I am not sure. Can you guarantee the person who is ill before you, giving you the fees that for this fees I will guarantee that you will be totally cured? Cannot. That is the reason why the patient is getting cured. You must understand. You have nothing in your hands as good for others and as good unto yourself. Every good comes from Him. It is because whenever you suffer, definitely you turn to Him for the cure. Whenever you are deeply aggrieved, you turn to Him for peace. So, whatever good you possess now, because of Him, mercy that you have this life now, partly good life, appreciably good life. Be contented with it and don't content. Don't oppose God's blessings that it is your own life that you are leading and you are careful about your tomorrow and you have been leading your life. If you are feeling better today, if you are leading a good life today, it is because of your life standards, not because of anything. And you believe in your worthiness and you don't believe in God's mercy. All these things do as your evil deeds because of your pride. And if you are humble before Him and fear Him all the time, this God fearing, this piety will pay you a reward that is unknown to you. Ever be with you, also to your siblings, also to your progenies, and to the people around you who believe you, who take you as a model for their life. Understanding this now, the pilgrimage should start today. The wish in my heart for tomorrow. From the next moment that tomorrow starts, the present, that is an indication tomorrow all the materials are going to come to you for your life, for your splendid life, for your luxurious life. This luxurious life, this expansive life is what I want. So the expansiveness should not be falling short. This is your requirement, this is your need, this is your fulfillment to be given by God until the last moment. If you are believing God, believe in the last day. Means He gives you something, and I want it very, very, very urgently. And this is my life. Without this, there's no life for me. This is how you feel to your life. But for God, no one has given this to you. Everyone can feel what's dear to them. About tomorrow, God is dearer than his life pain. About tomorrow, he gives you that order. And that order is the will. And that will be done by him alone and not by your person using your knowledge. Your knowledge is about the past, his will is about the future. For Muslims, this is for the humankind. Entire humanity, for all time to come. This is the only book. If there's any other book saying the same thing, definitely that's also part of the book. Here, now the proclamation is made by the God as well as his messenger, the good force that is inhabiting your mind now. About tomorrow, God's messengers are inhabiting. Knowledge, it is inhibiting. So between the good and the evil forces, you start edging towards so that the evil ones ebb away. Here is our understanding that I have to be all the while the good tidings in me. It is the message of God. The messengers are carrying that. I have to say salam to my messengers. That means I have to be contented with what I have received. I require is now patience and perseverance and belief from Him. He is the granter of belief. He is the giver of patience. He is the establisher of my endurance. This is prayer. Being prayerful because I am seeking belief from Him for whatever He has bestowed upon me. That pleasantness in the heart for my beautiful, vast living of tomorrow, the splendid life of tomorrow. This pleasantness is the forerunner for me. I have to preserve it at any cost. He is the preserver, He is the granter of belief, and He is the establisher of my patience and endurance. My life journey has started on a pilgrimage. On the day of the pilgrimage, when it will end, when it is beginning. Today I have housed some good tidings from my heart, from a God, that, and I believe the pleasantness now starts filling up and brewing up from within me, and I am so glad that no harm touches me, no grief has still lurking in me, and no fear about tomorrow. It is some sort of pleasantness. If you don't have grief of yesterday and the worry of today and fear of tomorrow, the pleasantness fills up your heart. God's message to you. If you think that you are the creator and you take your past knowledge to the future, then you are associating the jinns to God. You are associating the evil to the glad tidings given to you. Associating your pride instead of subduing before God. Instead of obeying Him, you are atrocious enough to transgress the limits despite your suffering, despite your suffer, the tiredness and haggardiness, you still push yourself through towards a detrimental position. Life is deteriorating, your confidence is going down, and your life ahead is very bleak. And you look very meek now. It is impossible for you to, if you have no humility before Him, if you don't fear Him. My tide is changing now. My life is changing now. As long as I am here thinking about tomorrow, fearing Him alone, and preserving the pleasantness here. And I will not be arrogant, I will not be haughty, but obediently accepting His word of and thereafter relying on it, putting my trust back in Him, and thereafter trusting Him. Definitely, God loves those who trust Him. Is it impossible for us now to stay on the pilgrimage and be on the pilgrimage all the time? Content, and you think that your efforts are most important, and you have taken God as only a constant idea, and to believe in it is a weird thing. as far as you are concerned, because now you are wealthy and healthy. To you to make you either say this or to make you either become humble before God. All the conscience is there alive. Your transgression and your pride gone. Now all the satanic forces surround you. The downfall, a great downfall, from which you can never surge upwards at all. So I fear my God now. If I don't fear Him, God says now, the day of pilgrimage, the end of the pilgrimage is now. It has been given to you that it is the greater pilgrimage that His word has come to today. The presentness in your heart is removed and fear grips your heart. And worry is lurking, and definitely grief is overpowering you. You can never escape from all these things. So that you can shoo it away, it is impossible. Will you stand by God? Will you be pious before God? Will you show humility before others, fearing God only? May God is with you. If not, God and His messenger has withdrawn from you. Whoever is associating their pride to Allah's greatness, associating their hastiness to the glad tidings that Allah gives you, maintain patience. If you are a believer in yourself against God's commandment that you believe in me and me alone, then God and messenger have took complete leave of you. They are totally cleared of you. There is no God for you, no messenger for you to say any good words, and your life is in dire straits. It is possible with God. But He gives you a long rope for you to learn the ropes. Be hopeful by learning the ropes and travel along lines of the rope that guides you and take onto the hold of Allah by strongly gripping onto the rope. There's enough hope He will give you to the perseverance, and that will take you over all the disadvantages and finally successfully with whatever God has designed for you inside as a beautiful wish. Will understand this is what God has promised me before. Never come to know of it. We are on a pilgrimage today. We are on a greater pilgrimage today. When you believe in Allah, believe in the last day. Believe in the last day. Whatever promise Allah has given to you is world itself. That is that's His judgment. A glad tidings today, a promise from Him today. That means because of some appreciation of good qualities in me, He has given this to me. Yes, definitely. Of course, I am having the evil qualities also. It's also I possess. But still, Allah forgives me because of some appreciation towards Him, some obedience I show Him, and humility I pay before Him, and the mercy I have for others and concern for others. It is all for the countenance of Allah, for His pleasure. Because the, the greater feeling I have in my heart, and a greater pilgrimage I have, because none but He can create this for me. The presentness in me, I am on the pilgrimage. I am not supposed to spoil it. God is keenly watching whatever that happens in your mind, what your mind speaks to you. Definitely, He hears. He is the hearer. He is the seer. Don't think that because you hide it in your breast, God doesn't know Him. Fear for the loss you will suffer in the future. If all the wealth and if it is so definite that you are going to lose your freedom, you will be fearing today. But tomorrow, if this presence goes, if this good tidings goes, definitely you will be in severe loss in every aspect. For you to bear with it, you will even commit suicide, or we will live forever in such a miserable situation, full of adversities around us, full of affliction and distresses. It is impossible for us to even think about the torment that we'll undergo. So believe in the last day, the greater day. Believe in the greater pilgrimage. Either you will suffer to a great extent, or you will be blissfully, joyfully placed to a great extent. Between these two, which one you will choose is up to you. Your choice, let it be a better one, the best one. Is this for the entire humanity, or it is for a particular so-called people who claim themselves to be Muslims? No, it's for entire humanity. So now we go to the verse 3 of chapter 9. A proclamation is messenger unto mankind. The day of the greater pilgrimage. Good for good and evil for evil. That's the end of the pilgrimage. We believe in God, okay, the pilgrimage starts. But you don't believe in God, okay, the pilgrimage ends there. Whatever you wish for, it will happen or it will not happen. Pilgrimage, that's the last day, the day that is fixed up for you on the appointed hour. Either you'll suffer or you will yourself for a greater life. Continuously move towards a greater life. That's a greater pilgrimage. The greatest hour when you face a downfall or when you beauty, when you are granted His splendidness, a bountiful like this world is the most abundant in gracing us. On the day of the greater pilgrimage, the God and His messenger clear of you if you are arrogant, if you are boastful and transgressing people. And God and messengers are there with you if you are obedient and following His tenets and you are pious and you are steadfast in your. As long as you keep your heart clean from the touches of your knowledge stored in the brain, definitely you are going to scale greater heights every moment. Keep up that bliss, keep up that happiness, keep up that peace in your heart all the time. Don't allow the pleasantness to go away from it. Repent. So if you repent, that will be better for you. But if you turn your backs, you cannot frustrate Allah. So don't turn away, don't turn your backs to Him, don't go by the knowledge, don't become stupidly arrogant and boastful, every capacity to lead your life. Definitely it is not in your hands. You ask your conscience, definitely it will say, my life is not with me. If you say that my life is with me, definitely it means a greater pilgrimage has ended and God and His message has left already. If you go to doctors and say, and I give it document in writing that you are not responsible if I die, I killed myself, this is the declaration. Now you go about treating me and I believe you, thinking that you are God or next to God. There is no question of being God or next to God. God is always there. Either you take Him for your survival and for a beautiful life or leave Him for good. So on the day of the greater pilgrimage, either you side with Allah and head towards a beautiful life, or thinking you are God and you start believing the people because there are specialists around you. Definitely on the day of greater pilgrimage, you will be a downtrodden and disgraced person. Of life, all your life put on a single day, how greater a torment and distress it will be, you will suffer it. This is an admonition, this is a warning, this is a glad tiding to you. Take it in the way you want and take it in a better form and shape. Definitely, Allah is going to shape up your life. Take it in the life of your own standards, and then the people are sufficient for it to show you the help. Read again. On a greater day of pilgrimage, God and the messenger, they have cleared of you. If you repent now, definitely the God and the messenger will be with you. Or if you turn away, then God is, you cannot frustrate Him. What is to happen on you, what is to befall definitely. It will come to you. You are not the. And give you good tidings to the unbelievers of a painful chastisement. If you're an unbeliever in this, you'll see a good news for you, there's a painful torment for you. Correct today and save yourself from the painful torment. That's a good news for you. So this is a beautiful warning not to be neglected. It definitely touches the heart, cleanses the heart, purifies it, instills some fear, piety in the heart. So Allah and His Messenger with us, and the pleasantness of our life is ever going towards a splendid life in this world with all the materials, but full of life energy and life resources inbuilt. We are going to live a paradise in this life, also in the next life. God is the creator, so creator of tomorrow. I'm going to be pushed into that creation, and He is my only guide, He is my only helper, and He is my protector, and He is my savior, and He will be taking me to endless elevations all my life, as long as I am surviving here and later on also. This is our belief. May God help us to follow you on a pilgrimage, and on the greater day of pilgrimage, we are not to be losers, and we are believing you. You are the appreciator of our belief, and we abide by you. Definitely, your glad tidings will be filled up in and around us, and that will be a paradise for us in this world. We abide by you, my Lord, and definitely keep your messengers with me, and both of you are closest to me all my life. And this is my life, not the brain is my life. My brain is only part, and I getting the jewel in the depth of my heart. You are closest to me all the time. You save me from being driven away from it, to be chased away from the evil jinns. From among the people also, you save me from the boastful people, and among the pious, obedient, and unthankfulness to you. No, sir. I'm okay there.